In the celestial realms, where the light of divine wisdom shone eternally, there existed an angel unlike any other. His name was Zephyriel, the Silent Watcher. Among the ranks of archangels, cherubim, and seraphim, he was a mystery, for he never spoke, never sang the praises of the Almighty as others did. Yet he stood unwavering at the edges of eternity, witnessing the unfolding of creation, his eyes filled with an understanding no other angel possessed. From the moment of his formation, Zephyriel was different. While Michael wielded his sword in divine battles, while Gabriel carried messages of great importance, and while Raphael healed those in need, Zephyriel simply watched. His presence was acknowledged, but his purpose remained unknown. Some angels whispered that he had been created for a mission so sacred that even he did not yet comprehend it. Others believed that his silence was not by choice, but by command of the Creator himself. The greatest of the celestial hosts sought to understand him. Lucifer, before his fall, once stood beside Zephyriel at the edge of the heavens, watching the stars form. "Why do you not rejoice with us?" he asked, his voice both curious and disdainful. But Zephyriel only gazed at the cosmos, his expression unreadable. It was said that even Lucifer, the brightest of angels, shuddered at that silence, for he felt that Zephyriel saw something that he himself could not. As eons passed, Zephyriel remained steadfast. He watched as Adam and Eve were formed from the dust of the earth, as humanity took its first breath. He saw the serpent whisper in the garden, the first sin unfold, and the first exile from paradise. He observed the flood that wiped the wicked from the land, the rise and fall of Babel, and the birth of nations. Still, he remained voiceless, though something in his gaze seemed to darken with each passing age. What did he know that no one else did? And why did he keep his silence? As time moved forward, the celestial realms buzzed with discussions of a prophecy, one that even the archangels did not fully understand. The throne of heaven was firm, but darkness was rising. The fallen ones, those who had sided with Lucifer in his rebellion, had begun whispering in the shadows. The war that had once torn heaven apart was long over, but the echoes of defiance remained. One day, an assembly of the highest-ranking angels was called. Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, Uriel, and the others gathered in the grand celestial hall, where light shimmered like liquid gold. A question lingered among them. What was to come? Michael, the warrior of God, was the first to speak. The balance of creation trembles once more. The fallen are restless. Darkness stirs in places where even the firmament's light struggles to reach. Gabriel, the messenger, added, "Prophets on earth have begun to receive strange visions. They see a figure standing at the edge of time, watching as the end of days approaches. But none can discern his name." All eyes turned towards Zephyriel, who stood apart from them, silent as ever. Raphael, the healer, stepped forward. "Brother, we have watched you watch the world for eons. You have seen things even we have not. Do you not have words for us now?" For a moment it seemed as if Zephyriel would answer. The light in his eyes flickered. Was it hesitation or something deeper? But he said nothing. Instead, he turned away, gazing once more toward the vastness of eternity. A shiver ran through the assembled angels. Even without words, his presence carried a weight they could not understand. And then, for the first time in creation's history, heaven trembled. The trembling of heaven was not mere coincidence. The divine halls, unshaken since the fall of Lucifer, quivered with an unknown force. The assembled angels looked upon each other with unease. Something was coming, something beyond their comprehension. A voice, deep and resounding, filled the celestial realm. It was not the voice of God, but something that had existed since the beginning of time itself. The very fabric of creation pulsed as ancient words were spoken. "The Silent One knows the hour." The angels turned to Zephyriel. The prophecy was about him. Michael, the commander of heaven's armies, drew his sword, its divine fire illuminating the chamber. "Speak now, Zephyriel," he demanded. "If you know the hour, if you see the path, then let it be known." For the first time in eternity, Zephyriel's lips parted. His voice was unlike any other. It was neither loud nor soft, neither cold nor warm. It was the voice of one who had seen the past, present, and future unfold before his very eyes. The final war is not yet written in stone. The first rebellion was only a shadow of what is to come. A hush fell over the angels. What did he mean? Hadn't Lucifer's rebellion been the greatest threat heaven had ever faced? Gabriel's voice trembled. Do you mean there will be another? Zephyriel did not answer, but the silence itself spoke volumes. As the angels pondered Zephyriel's words, a memory long buried within the fabric of heaven stirred. There had been another rebellion, a forgotten one. Before Lucifer's fall, before the creation of mankind, there was an angel known as Sariel, the keeper of secrets. He was not cast down in fire like Lucifer, but was erased from the records of heaven. Even the angels had forgotten him, until now. Zephyriel closed his eyes and the visions returned to him as they had countless times before. He saw Sariel standing before the throne, his heart heavy with jealousy. He saw how Sariel had questioned the wisdom of God's plan to create humanity, believing that the love of the Almighty would shift away from the angels. But unlike Lucifer, Sariel had not sought war. He had sought silence, hiding in the shadows, manipulating the minds of lesser angels, whispering doubts into their ears. And then he vanished. No angel knew what had happened to him, but Zephyriel did. Sariel had not fallen to earth like Lucifer. He had not been bound like the Watchers. He had simply disappeared, slipping into the hidden layers of reality, where neither heaven nor hell could reach him. And now, after eons of silence, he was returning. A great disturbance rippled through creation. Mortals on earth felt it in their dreams. Prophets began writing visions of a faceless angel who moved between realms unseen. The fallen ones who had long awaited their chance for revenge whispered Sariel's name in the shadows. Zephyriel stood at the edge of heaven, gazing into the void where Sariel had vanished. He could feel his presence returning, like a distant storm on the horizon. But Sariel was not alone. He had gathered others, lost angels, forgotten spirits, remnants of divine beings who had been erased from history. Michael prepared the armies of heaven. If he returns, we will face him, he declared. Even if he is beyond our sight, the light of God will burn through the darkness. But Zephyriel knew it would not be that simple. This was not a war of swords and flames. This was a war of knowledge, a battle fought in the very fabric of existence itself. As Zephyriel watched, a figure emerge from the void, not in fire, nor in shadow, but in silence. Sariel had returned. The two angels faced each other, neither speaking, neither moving. To any other being, it would have seemed like an eternity, but for them, it was but a moment in the grand design of time. You see what I see, Sariel finally whispered. His voice was distant, ancient. You know what comes next. Zephyriel remained still. Sariel stepped closer. You were given the gift of sight, but denied the right to speak. You watched as we were erased, but now the truth will be known. The air around them vibrated. The balance of existence itself was at stake. You can stop this, Sariel said, his voice laced with something strange. Was it pleading or warning? But Zephyriel only closed his eyes, and the heavens trembled once more. As Zephyriel stood motionless, the angels of heaven felt a change in the air. The silence that followed was not one of peace, but of anticipation. Sariel turned away, and as he did, the hidden ones moved. They had been waiting just beyond the veil, their presence undetected by heaven or hell. These were the remnants of the first rebellion, spirits who had existed in the shadows for eons. Michael felt their presence before he saw them. Prepare the hosts, he commanded. This war was written before time, and now it unfolds. And so, before the final battle between heaven and hell, before the end of days, a war unseen by mankind was about to begin. Zephyriel remained at the edge of eternity, watching as the armies prepared, as the hidden ones revealed themselves, as the forces of heaven and the forgotten rebellion stood on the brink of conflict. And then he spoke, one final time. This is not the end. The angels around him froze. This is only the beginning. And as he spoke, a new prophecy was born, one that would shake the foundations of existence itself. The celestial realm pulsed with tension as the forces of heaven and the forgotten rebellion stood on the brink of battle. The air shimmered with divine energy, and the very fabric of reality seemed to shift. The angels had fought wars before, but never one like this. never against an enemy that had been erased from history itself. Sariel, standing at the head of his hidden army, gazed at heaven's defenders. His eyes, once filled with divine radiance, now burned with an otherworldly light, one that had seen beyond the veil of time. "You were blind, Michael," Sariel said, his voice like a whisper carried by the wind. "You thought the fall of Lucifer was the greatest threat, but the true war was always in the shadows." Michael did not flinch. "You seek to rewrite the will of the Almighty. That is your folly." Sariel shook his head. "I seek only truth." Lightning cracked through the heavens, and the battlefield was set. The armies of heaven stood, swords of fire drawn, while Sariel's hidden ones emerged from the depths of forgotten realms. Zephariel stood between them, silent, watching. He alone knew that this battle was not what it seemed. Something far greater was coming. As the first blow was struck, a ripple tore through the heavens. It was not the clash of steel or the sound of battle. It was something far deeper. The hidden war had begun, but it was merely a doorway. Zephariel's eyes widened as he saw what lay beyond. The veil that separated creation from the unknown had been torn. Something ancient, something that neither heaven nor hell had prepared for, stirred in the abyss. It had no name, no form, yet its presence sent waves of unease through all who stood upon the battlefield. The angels felt it. The hidden ones felt it. Even Sariel, for all his knowledge, faltered. Michael's sword burned with divine light. "What have you done?" Sariel turned, his expression unreadable. "I did not do this," he whispered. The heavens trembled. The stars dimmed. And from beyond the veil, something awoke. The war that was fought in the shadows was never about victory or defeat. It was about revelation. And as the veil between the known and the unknown broke, both angels and fallen ones realized a terrifying truth. They were never the only ones watching.